Hi everybody, how you doing? I'm thoroughly enjoying this and getting a lot of information to put to use like tomorrow. So, for those of you that I haven't met, my name is Brenda Tucker-Jeffries, and I am a author first, a wedding strategist second, a public speaker. I'm also a relationship coach in my local area. I'm an over 50s model. But today, my topic is going to be sharing with you how I became an author because it was definitely not intentional. My story begins with helping my daughter and her boyfriend plan their wedding events. And it started when she actually went on vacation with him in the summer of 2013. And she called back home to tell her dad and I that he had proposed to her. And they were so excited they really couldn't even talk on the phone. So they said, when we get home, we want to come over and tell you about everything that happened to come up with the proposal. So we said, okay. Um, and when they got home, they called, they wanted to have a meeting. So we sat at my kitchen table and her dad and I listened to, how the proposal came about. And then they wanted to know how did we, as the parents of the bride, want to participate in the planning. And I was really grateful for them asking us that because I knew from working with a lot of other individuals and being in different weddings myself that a lot of times the parents want to be involved, but they really don't know how to approach the bride and the groom about letting them know what they want to do. And some parents are still rather traditional. They want to, if their daughter's getting married, they want to bear the brunt of all the costs. But today, the kids are not getting married as early. So some of the bride and grooms are now like in their 30s. They have their own careers. They worked for a while. Some of them are making really good money. So they will probably want to participate in some of the costs also. And then, in addition, I found that there are some brides who want their mothers to participate in the planning, but they don't want their mothers to take over. But they don't know how to communicate that to the mom. So they may need a little help in doing that. So I was really glad they were asking us how we wanted to participate. So what actually happened was after we had this conversation at my kitchen table, my husband and I took a little time to think about it all. And then he finally came to me and he said, you know what? I don't need to be involved in this. You can handle it. And I said, all right, because that's what I wanted to do anyway. He said, I know you'll have it under control. I'm not worried about it. So I said, great. So the first thing that we needed to do was actually determine how we were going to set up meetings and keeping each other involved with everything that was going on because time was moving fast. I mean, this was like a year and a half prior to the date that they said they wanted to get married. So we had to plan the engagement, we had to plan the wedding and the reception. So they decided, okay, it might be a good idea for us to like have a meeting regularly, like maybe once a month, so that we can keep track of what it is we said we're going to do. And I said to them, well, yeah, that's a good idea because I know you guys have a lot of ideas going on inside your head, and so do I, but we need to get them out of our heads and get them written down somewhere on paper or either or in an Excel spreadsheet so that we can go over them every time we meet. And if we revise something, everybody can see what's going on. So they agreed to do that. And the first thing that we came up with was, okay, we need to talk about a budget. Okay, how much do you all think you want to spend? So they came up with a figure and they actually said, well, we've got good jobs and we want what we want. So we plan on splitting it with you. And I'm saying, oh, that's great. I've never heard that before, but I love it. I think that's a great idea. And we went from there. We came up with a budget. We sat down and they decided who they wanted to do what. They were going to do certain things. They wanted me to participate in doing certain things. And then I said to them, you know what? I really don't want his parents to feel that you guys haven't asked them to become involved, because I want everybody, to sort of feel that they can participate in whatever way they want. You all just need to communicate that with them. So they did. They contacted them, and his stepmom wanted to be involved. So we ended up going to visit some of the various places that they thought they wanted to have these occasions at. The engagement party was first, and they had attended a wedding of some of their friends at this particular place. So they liked that place. So that was easy. We got the place, we had the engagement party, everything was fine. Next, we started planning for the wedding. And they had seen a couple of places listed in one of the wedding magazines that was in Chicago area. And so they went to look at a couple of those and, said, well, they really didn't like either the environment that it was in, the outside, or they didn't like what it looked like on the inside. It may have looked more like a bar than what the facility was that they really wanted. So we just kept searching until they found something that they really did like. And I really didn't need to go with them if they really liked it. It was their place, their choice. So they settled on a place that was on the south side of Chicago in a theological seminary, and it was gorgeous. And this place had its own wedding planner, which we thought, oh, that's great. We don't have to pay for one ourselves. It's going to come with the rental of the facility. So from there, they started looking for a place to have the reception, because they wanted to have it in a different spot, because we had people coming from everywhere. Within Illinois, in Indiana, we had people coming from Michigan and Arkansas and wherever family was. And we wanted to make sure we had places for them to stay. And a lot of individuals, when they come to town, they don't necessarily want to stay at your house. They want to stay at a hotel or someplace. So we had to find someone that had room for them if that's what they wanted to do, and also had places for them to go if they wanted to shop. So we finally ended up at a luxury hotel in downtown Chicago that they fell in love with. So since they had already seen it, they wanted myself and his stepmom to go and take a look at it also and meet with the planner that was there. So we did that. We met with her, and then they decided after the taste testing that was really the place that they wanted. And we put the deposit down and everything. And everything was fine until the day of the wedding. And the wedding was spectacular. Everything went the way it was supposed to go. We left the wedding, came downtown to the luxury hotel, and everything began to fall apart. All of the plans that we had made became non-existent almost, because the wedding planner that worked for the facility wasn't responsible for working with us. She was responsible for the duties that the facility gave her to do. We didn't know that, so we didn't hire ourselves a wedding planner that was responsible to us. So the first thing that happened when we got to the hotel was that I found out from some of our guests that the parking facility was not at the price that they quoted us. It was much higher, which meant they had to pay more than we told them on the invitation, which upset a lot of people, of course. So now I'm running around trying to take care of that, fix that. Some other issues took place that I'm trying to take care of. All of these anomalies just come out of nowhere. The planner for the facility is nowhere to be found. So in essence, I miss out on all of those things that the mother of the bride is supposed to be involved in. I don't get to dance with my husband. I don't get to take pictures at the reception with my husband or with the family because I'm running around trying to take care of all these things that go whack. So by the time the reception is over, everybody at the reception though is having a good time because I'm not letting on what's going on. They don't see me sweating bullets. And by the time they leave, they're happy, because everything went well in their minds. So by the time it was over, there was supposed to be an after party, and I was just exhausted. I couldn't handle an after party. So my husband and I, retreated to the hotel room. Come to find out, he's now sick. He's not feeling well. So he's not going to the after party, and neither one of us are going to go to the breakfast that was planned for that morning. So we end up leaving very early that next morning to come home because we have out of town guests that are still staying at our house for another 4 days. And as we're standing outside waiting for them to bring us our car, they bring us someone else's car. And I'm like, but that's not our car. So they had to go find our car. We get our car, we go home and start entertaining our guests. So my daughter and her husband are now on their honeymoon. And before my guests leave in the 4 days, my daughter informs me that there was some other things that went wrong that night at the after party and that next morning that should not have gone wrong. So by then I'm seething. Steam is coming out of my ear. I'm ready to just want to fight. My temperature has gone up. I'm having to get additional blood pressure medication to control it. And I'm not telling my husband what's going on here because he's trying to, be the perfect host for the out of town people. So by the time they leave and go to the airport, I'm finally getting a chance to unpack. And as I'm unpacking and hanging up his stuff and my stuff, I realize I don't have my gown. Where is my gown? Then it dawned on me, we left so early that morning, I didn't have a chance to check the room to make sure that everything was packed. So my gown was left there, but the hotel didn't bother to call me. If I hadn't called them, I would have never gotten my gown back. So I decided, all right, this is just too much. I can't deal with this. We paid all of this money at this luxury hotel. We've got to do something about this. So first of all, I had to calm myself down, get myself under control. And I had to figure out a way to do that. And the only way that I could figure out to calm myself down was to actually sit down and write about this experience from beginning to end. The things that went well, the things that didn't, what should have happened, what didn't, and why. So I started writing that in November. And by the time I finished, it was all cathartic. It made me feel like I was born again. I was renewed. I just released it all. I took it, filed it away for about a month. And then it dawned on me. I said, you know what? No, I can't just leave this in the file cabinet because I know that I'm not the only person that this happened to. We're not the only person. Other people have had to go through this. They just haven't shared it with anybody because really it's embarrassing, first of all, because you go through this situation and you pay all of this money to these professionals and these types of things happen and they take advantage of you. Then you have to spend more money to try and fix the things you can fix. Everything can be fixed. You can have do-overs. I couldn't fix the fact that I wasn't in any of those photos that I should have been in, or that I missed the dance with my husband. Those couldn't be fixed. But there were some things that could be fixed, but I had to spend more money in order to fix them. So I brought the manuscript back out and started looking at it, and I'm saying to myself, but I don't know where to take this to get it into a book. But one night I was sitting there just watching television and a commercial came on and it was telling me about this publication company that was located near me. And I'm thinking to myself, I pass there all the time. I don't even recognize where this place is. So they were having a meeting and I went to the meeting and they explained the process of publishing. And I told them I had this script and could they turn it into a book? And they did that. They did that within a matter of months. I actually took it to a different editor because I had read some books by someone else that I really liked the form that it was in. And this editor actually talked with me about the changes that she thought needed to be made in saying the things that I wanted to say and getting it across to my audience, which I like very well because I had heard that most editors just take your stuff, read it, make the adjustments and send it back to you without any type of discussion. And that's not what I wanted at all. So the name of the publishing company was the Speakers, Publishers, and Authors Association. And that's where I did the first edition of my book, after which I met a gentleman by the name of Terrence Lethbridge, who ended up being my first coach. And he actually put together an event for several authors, and I was one of them, where we got to make a presentation and a speech at the University of Chicago, which I had never even been at, even though I lived in Chicago all my life. And on that day, he told me, he said, you know, Brenda, the book is a good thing, but the book is only part of what you can do. The book is really the beginning of a business. And you need to think of it that way. And I had never even thought of it that way because I never even thought of being an author in the first place. So he ended up introducing me to some individuals that were into publishing. And they took a look at it and, you know, gave me a couple of suggestions and recommendations on what they thought needed to be changed. The cover was changed, and I think I added maybe a sentence or two on the inside and republished it and changed the title to Mother of the Bride, Stuff Happens. So that's how I became an author. It was unintentional, but it was necessary because I had to do something in order to get rid of the anger that had welled up inside of me. And the book is available. You can go to my website, which is www.brenda-tucker-jeffries.com. And then click on the Learn More link, and it'll take you directly to Amazon.com. Or you can just go directly to Amazon.com yourself and order the book. The book is really something that is a great gift for your engaged friends and family members. Anyone who's engaged really needs to have it. at the beginning of their engagement so that they can become aware of some of the anomalies that can take place and that do take place in order to avoid them. And one of my marketing tools says, Mother of the Bride, stuff happens. 20 lessons every mother of the bride needs to know to save money, frustration, and embarrassment, and still create your daughter's dream wedding. I'm Brenda Tucker-Jeffries. Thanks, guys.